This channel explores moments of self-reflection that arise in everyday life. Do you really choose or only repeat? Jean-Paul Sartre once wrote, "Freedom is what we do with what is done to us." We like to believe every choice is ours, shaped by intention and clarity. Yet many choices are echoes of fear, habit, or what once worked. Noticing how we choose may be more honest than choosing itself. Before asking whether we are free, we might ask whether we ever stopped long enough to decide. And maybe the real issue is that we mistake options for freedom. First, we assume more choices, mean control, forgetting how often we follow the familiar without thought. Second, modern life rewards performance, where we post convictions before asking why they matter. And third, unseen systems steer us long before we notice. A dashboard can tell us, we failed on a day we helped someone breathe easier. In the end, decisions without awareness are not chosen. They simply happen to us. So now, what if you asked yourself, do you truly choose or do you simply follow momentum? If you paused before choosing, would the choice really stay the same?
What would you honestly say?
Is common good what you think? John Rawls once wrote, "A just society is one it would be rational to enter, even without knowing your place in it." We speak of the common good as if it is obvious and shared. But agreement is rarely the beginning. What benefits everyone is often named first by those who benefit most. Before calling something the common good, we might ask, whose comfort it protects and whose voice it keeps quiet. And maybe the real issue is that we assume the common good is neutral. First, we confuse loud consensus with universal truth. Second, history shows that what is called good often reflects who had power to name it. And third, in daily life, common good becomes a shield. Like when a workplace justifies unfair rules by saying it is for everyone, while no one actually feels served. In the end, what is claimed as common good may only be common convenience. So now, what if you asked yourself, do you follow others to avoid being the only one? If the common good silences someone, would you still call it good?
What would you honestly say?
Who decides the real winner? Niccolò Machiavelli once wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few know what you truly are." We often imagine victory as something obvious, clean, and final. But the world rarely works like a scoreboard. The one who wins may simply be the one most visible, not the one most right. Before accepting any outcome as truth, we might ask whether the judgment itself deserved the power to decide. And maybe the real issue is that we treat victory as a fact, not a definition. First, we forget that outcomes can be wrong, simply because the judge was. Second, if we accept every call without question, it becomes the law for everyone else. And third, society rewards results even when they were built on error. Like when a promotion goes to the one who spoke loudest, while the real work came from someone silent in the corner. So now, what if you asked yourself, if a judgment feels wrong, must you still accept the outcome? If you cannot accept it, what must change for it to ever feel fair?
What would you honestly say?
Is autonomy what you think? Immanuel Kant once said, "We often assume that being free means doing whatever we want, whenever we want." But real freedom isn't about the absence of rules. It's about the power to choose them. To act not from fear nor from external pressure, but because we recognize the rule as worthy. Autonomy is the rare strength to bind ourselves to principles we truly believe in. And maybe we've misunderstood what autonomy really means. First, we often confuse autonomy with convenience, choosing only what feels good or serves our desires. Second, We assume that being autonomous means rejecting all limits, as if boundaries were chains. But third, when freedom isn't guided by responsibility, we risk becoming not more human, but less. Animals follow instinct. Machines follow code. We become truly human only when the rules we choose could also be justifiable for others. That's when autonomy gains dignity. So now, what if you asked yourself, are the standards you live by ones you'd want others to share? And are they strong enough to live by even when no one is watching?
What would you honestly say?
Would you share your wealth? Adam Smith once wrote, "No society can surely be flourishing and happy, of which the far greater part of the members are poor and miserable. Many say, if I become rich, I will give back someday." Yet wealth is often imagined as a finish line, a point where generosity suddenly begins. But choices are already visible now. How we share time, who we help, and whether we act only when abundance arrives. And maybe the real issue is that we believe generosity begins later, once we have enough. First, we mistake imagined wealth for proof of future virtue. Second, modern capitalism praises giving only when it is public, when names appear on plaques and donations become headlines. And third, everyday life reveals our gap. Like when we say we will give someday, yet avoid helping someone already within reach. In the end, generosity postponed slowly disappears. What we delay often becomes what we never choose. So now, what if you asked yourself, if you became wealthy, would you leave everything only to your family? How much would you give away for the public good?
What would you honestly say? See you in the next video.